Welcome to The Explainer. We're often told that bigger is better. But today, we're going to look at a story that proves sometimes the biggest ideas come in the smallest packages.
So here's the big question. Can a short book really change the world? I mean, it's something writers and creators wrestle with all the time, right? There's this constant pressure to produce these huge, exhaustive works just to be taken seriously.
Well, on December 19, 1843, a guy named Charles Dickens proved the answer was a resounding yes. But here's the thing. His proof didn't come in some massive 3-volume epic, which was, all the rage back then.
Nope. It came in just 70 pages. 70. That's it. So, how did he do it? Okay, let's really get into this.
All right, Section 1. Let's start by digging into just how radical this little book was. I mean, it completely flew in the face of what everyone expected in the Victorian era. You have to understand, publishers were skeptical, to say the least. The public was used to these sprawling 3-volume novels. A story you could read in a single sitting? That seemed kind of trivial, almost a throwaway. Dickens was up against the same myth so many of us face today. This idea that bigger means better, that length equals credibility. His own team thought it was risky, maybe even insignificant.
Okay, so that leads us to the story behind the story. This wasn't just some casual project. This masterpiece was literally forged in a fire of pure urgency and passion.
See, Dickens didn't have time to write some long, drawn-out novel. He was absolutely furious about the child poverty he was seeing all over London, and he felt this desperate need to do something now. He had just 6 weeks, that's it, to channel all that fury into a story that people couldn't possibly ignore. And this timeline, wow, it just shows that incredible white-hot pace he was working at.
And guess what? It worked. The public responded instantly. The book was a smash hit, selling 6,000 copies by Christmas Eve alone. That was a huge number for the time.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The sales numbers, they don't even tell the full story. The book's true impact wasn't just in sales, it was in action. We're talking about real-world change. For example, one industrial tycoon was apparently so moved he sent all his workers home early with pay and gifts, something he'd never, ever done before. The book immediately started to change the conscience of a whole nation.
And this, right here, brings us to today. Because there's this persistent myth that holds so many of us back from doing our best, most impactful work. Okay, so let's break this down. The myth versus the truth. The myth is that volume equals value, right? That more pages for your money is a good deal, that word count is some measure of your worth as a creator. But the truth is that all that extra padding just dilutes the impact. What readers really want isn't more words. They want more transformation per word. Clarity beats length, every single time.
And look, Dickens isn't some weird exception to the rule. He's the proof of it. Just think about some of the most life-changing books ever written. They aren't these massive, exhaustive tomes. They're essential. They get right to the point, deliver a powerful message, and then they stick around for generations.
It really comes down to this. A whisper in the right ear changes more than a sermon to the deaf. The point is that a concentrated, focused impact is so much more powerful than just a bunch of noise. A precise message, delivered with real intent, can do what 1,000 pages of rambling just can't.
So the big question is, how did Dickens pull this off? How in the world did he pack so much power into so few pages? Well, let's just construct his secret sauce into a timeless framework that any of us can use today.
Okay, principle number 1 is what we'll call concentrated truth. This is all about making every single word count. I mean, think about it. Dickens didn't give us Scrooge's entire life story, right? He just showed us 3 pivotal memories, the ones that were absolutely essential for his transformation. The goal is to cut everything that doesn't advance emotion or insight. It's about respecting the reader's time and getting straight to the point. Next up, principle 2, emotional velocity. Now, this is a cool one. The idea here is that transformation doesn't happen over time. It happens when resistance is overwhelmed by truth. People don't need more time to change. They need more intensity. Scrooge's huge change happens in just one night because the intensity is so powerful, it just breaks through all his defenses. And finally, principle 3 is actionable transformation. Because look, the change has to be demonstrated through action. It's not real until it is. Scrooge doesn't just feel different, he acts different. He buys the turkey, he raises Cratchit's salary. The goal is to turn that emotion into clear next steps. Because impact isn't measured by pages read, it's measured by lives changed. So when you put it all together in a table like this, you can really see the whole framework in action: concentrated truth, emotional velocity, and actionable transformation. It's not just a one-off thing Dickens did. It's a clear, repeatable blueprint for any of us who want to create work that has a real, tangible impact.
All right, so that's the theory. But what does this mean for you right now? How can you actually apply this framework to your own work? Let's get practical.
Here it is, 6 simple steps to apply the Carroll framework. Step 1, define the one transformation. What's the single shift you need your audience to experience? Step 2, cut to the essentials. For every single paragraph, ask yourself, does this actually move the transformation forward? 3, create emotional peaks. Find 3 to 5 unforgettable moments and pour all your energy into those. 4, show, don't just explain. And 5, end with an immediate action. Tell people exactly what to do next. And maybe the most important and hardest step of all, step 6, ignore the pressure to write more. Just stop when the message is complete.
So what transformation is waiting inside your concise, powerful message? That's the real question, isn't it? The big takeaway here is that you don't need permission to be brief, you just need the courage to be essential. The world is an incredibly noisy place. Your clarity, that's what will cut through it all. Because at the end of the day, your job isn't to reach a word count, it's to reach a reader's soul. And that, right there, is the ultimate lesson from the little book that changed Christmas forever.